All right. Well, here we are. Welcome to Tuesday Talk on Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. Unfortunately, we are at a deployed location. As you can see, we had a little problem this morning with the local power distribution company. And thank you to my good friend Jim West and his family for allowing me to come over to their garage in the hall and give the and I'm dealing with one monitor today. Somebody else's internet, uh, all kinds of things happening this morning. Albert's not going to join us. He's got family visiting in town. Josh is unfortunately not going to be here, but we have a lot to talk about. Let's start off with our Michigan Metal Fest. Okay, guys. So we got this Michigan Metal Fest coming up in August. And let me pull it up real quick so I don't screw this up. And Michigan Metal Fest is going to be in Battle Creek, Michigan, August 22nd and August 23rd. It is a thunderous celebration of heavy metal music, healing, and community. Just minutes from Fort Custer, the venue sits near a historic military training ground, making it a fitting location for this festival that champions resilience and purpose, right? This festival was founded in 2017, hosted metal icons such as Mushroom Head, personal friends of the show, and Save 22. They headlined last year and helped elevate the event's national profile. This year, they're going to have some bands from Dying Fetus, Fight From Within, Crossbreed, and over 20 other bands across two stages. Save 22 is joining the movement as a vendor and amplifying our mission of Save 22 to to support veterans and promote mental health awareness. We're running a live raffle with Save 22, right, with free tickets and exclusive metal themed merchandise, a tribute to the gift and the grind of both music and the message, right? So join us on our. I'm having a little issue this morning, fellas. Sorry. Sign up for our giveaway at save22.vet, right? Make a donation, get yourself entered into our raffle. Michigan Metal Fest, August 22nd and 23rd, up in Battle Creek, Michigan. Let me get a little bit more info here. We're going to have food trucks, vendors, merchandise, and a crowd that lives for breakdowns, brotherhood. Michigan Metal Fest is more than just a show, it is a sanctuary. Whether you're moshing in the pit with partners from American Mosh Pit or connecting at the Save 22 booth, this is your chance to be part of something loud, lasting, and life changing. Enter our giveaway at save22.vet. That's right down here at the bottom of your show, or the bottom of my show, the bottom of my screen, save22.vet. And you can get more information at michiganmetalfest.com. We'll go ahead and put that up in here too, real quick. And let me get that up in there. The challenges of live podcasting are incredible. I'm sorry, it's MichiganMetalFest.net. And there we go, right there at the bottom. Right, so we took care of our Michigan Metal Fest. Boy, I am having a brain fart of a day today, fellas. My goodness. Um, we did our Michigan Metal Fest news this morning. Again, Battle Creek, Michigan. I got to tell you a little something about Battle Creek, Michigan, because I just spent 3, 4 days there over the weekend. July 4th weekend up there with, as everybody knows, my daughter's a Thunderbird. So the Thunderbirds had us up there. They had a great show. Incredible, incredible air show. It lasted like 10 hours, right? Like they had a drone show. They had fireworks. They had food. They had rides, carnival, lots of kids. Got to take our good friends Greg and Jan with us this weekend. They got to experience that VIP treatment of being a Thunderbird family member. So big thanks to the United States Air Force aerial demonstration team known as the Thunderbirds. They were incredible hosts. Big thanks to the city of Battle Creek. They did some great things for the performers up there, the air show, the hotels, the brewery that we were at, New Holland Brewery. What a great little brewery up there in Battle Creek, Michigan. Can't say enough about those guys. They helped us out. And it was my son's 21st birthday. So we got to do a little bit of celebrating. We thought he was going to be an Independence Day baby. Unfortunately, he is not. He was a July 5th baby, but that's okay. So I wanted to talk real quick, too, before we get into any of the other stuff about some of the things that have been going on in my own life, realizations, therapies, things like that. I saw a movie the other night, and that movie was Born on the Fourth of July. And what I what I noticed in that movie, what it is one of the most accurate depictions of what my PTSD was like, what my journey was like, my alcoholism, my lost period, whatever you want to say. And you saw the character, right? Tom Cruise's character over there, 18 years old, high performer, highly athletic. That was not me at all. Some of you know I was 4'11" in high school and a whopping 98 pounds. I graduated at a huge 5'3" and 110. Athleticism was not in the cards for me, right? Um, I was a nerd, a geek, right? I got good grades, didn't have to study real much. Had a job at 12 delivering papers until I was 16. Then I got a regular job at McDonald's, like most of us did back then, and then putted around little jobs until I was 18 and joined the service. Actually started that process at 16. Had a lot of little issues. Again, my size, number one, right? I was too little for the Marine Corps. Um, it was the 80s. Had no idea that there was even a height requirement to be a Marine, right? I was too short for them. Went to the Air Force recruiter, had to wait. I had some issues, had a wart on my foot of all things, right? Like a wart kept me out. My recruiter didn't have my parents sign the paperwork for me, so I was under 18, so I didn't have that done. Had to go back up. Finally, on my third or fourth attempt, I got into the Air Force, but I had to wait 10 months on what's called delayed enlistment. So, graciously, my parents allowed me to stay at the house. I didn't have to move out. I was 18, kept a job until right before I left. And then I went to the service at 18. That was 1990. And if any of you know what happened in August of 1990, Saddam attacked Kuwait, invaded Kuwait, and boom, we were at war. And then I spent the next 35 years. Well, I didn't. They did. I spent the next 25-ish years um, in the Middle East and all over the world, Northern Hemisphere stuff, right? Traveling around. Um, and in that movie, he does his second tour in Nam. He gets shot in the foot, the ankle, whatever it was. And he was going to go out like John Wayne, right? He was going to make his final stand. And a lot of guys get into that mode, I think, when they get hit, right? They either and I can't speak on this because I've never been hit. I've never been injured like that. I've never been in a combat situation like that. My combat was either aerial, flying into and out of combat zones, or on the ground at a deployed location, taking care of aircraft or personnel, whatever I was doing at the time on that deployment. So I don't have that experience. But I related to his mental state, right? You see him laying in a VA hospital bed, just asking to be treated like a human being, right? Just give me some common decency. That's how I felt, right? You go in with these things that are going on, and you have a problem, an issue communicating them. You're not really 100% sure what you should be saying, because you don't have the words. You've never felt these things before, right? It's a feeling of helplessness. It's a feeling that nobody understands, that nobody gives a shit, right? That nobody really cares about your issue. And the bottom line is it's true, right? Nobody cares that you're injured. Nobody cares that you're hurt. It's all about what you can provide for them or what you bring to the table. So no worries. We get through it all, right? But I highly related to those feelings. It took me in tears a few times, right? That feeling of helplessness, that loneliness, that this is never going to change. How do I do it? And the character Tom Cruise played, and now I can't remember, Kovac, um, really goes through a cycle, a bunch of different chapters. And that's the way my life played out. And I think that's the way a lot of our lives play out. We get in, it takes us a little bit of time to get used to what's going on, to understand what we can. And I hate saying can't, but that's true, right? There's certain things that we can't do, whether it be physically or emotionally or whatever. And we get stuck in those things. So, the character takes off to Mexico, man. And he's in a bar town, essentially, right? Hookers, blow, weed, drugs, sex, crazy lemon. Everybody's in a wheelchair, you know. And I went down that path too, maybe not so much the hookers and blow, but definitely the alcohol, the self-loathing, the what's the matter with me, right? I'm no good. This is going to affect everybody, and I don't know how to get out of it. And you get to a point where something piles on, that straw that broke the camel's back, right? And that straw for me was one day my wife told me the truth, and that truth was, when are you going to change? And she was right. I'm the only one that can change myself, and that's a hard one for a lot of people to accept, right? Luckily for me, I had my experience in AA, and that experience in AA led me to understand that I didn't let a bottle beat me, right? It wasn't the bottle, and it may have been 18 years of battles, but I won the war, and I want to give a huge thanks to Samson Hershberger, man, Chops, for making me realize that one. That was the light switch moment from him in the truck on the way back from the counter steer event, when he said, "Bro, don't be embarrassed by it, man. You didn't get beat by a bottle. You dominated that shit. You won that battle." And I think so many of us get stuck in the negativity of the bad things, or the embarrassments that we have, right? So I'll challenge you to get out of that, right? Change your perspective, change your mind, change your life. That's the way things have worked for me. Um, and in that movie, he finally decides it's time to get out of there, and he heads back. He runs into an old flame, and she's moved past him. She's moved on. So, right, heartbroken. Been there too, man. You know. And then he thinks that his thinking might be changing, right? And how can I impact others? How can I help? How can I do more? Um, and he ends up at the end of the movie. He's all cleaned up. He's in a suit, and he's rolling onto the floor of the Democratic National Convention in 1980. I think it was 1980. And that's that struck me, right? That hit me. I related to it. Not by being some bigwig or some local thing, but in a voice, right? I found my purpose now, right? It's not working on cars, it's not racing cars, it's not working on airplanes, it's not teaching young troops, it's not being a first sergeant. It's being a dad, a father, a husband, um, and telling my story to help others, sharing my experiences, bringing others out to what helped me, taking them out to the racetrack, getting them out on the golf course, just talking to them, meeting them where they're at. And I think so many of us forget that, right? Like everyone's battling something. Everyone is battling something, and you're never going to know it unless you talk about it. So, I just July 4th really impacted me. Born on the 4th of July, it really had an effect on me. Really good movie. Oliver Stone, Vietnam vet. He understood it. The accurate portrayals. They were whew, the Bronx, VA after Vietnam. Um, we had a situation like that up here at Brecksville before they closed down. I spoke to a lot of Vietnam veterans who were rehabbing there at Brecksville and how difficult their time there was. And, I'm grateful that that hasn't happened to me in that level, right? That nastiness didn't happen to me. I did have a an experience at Brecksville when I first got out of the service back in 2000. I got out in 99. One of my VA appointments was in 2000, and I had to go to Brecksville for it. And it was packed, and the hallways were small, and a lot of Vietnam guys in there. This was right about the time that the Agent Orange had gotten approved. So there's a lot of these VA Vietnam vets in there who were shocked, right? They were in tears. They were overwhelmed. They had no idea that Agent Orange was doing these things to them. And and while it was typically a death sentence, um, it took time, right, to kill these guys. It's an illness, right? It's a disease. It messes up your body, your brain, how things function, and man, it can really take a toll on people. And now I talking with everybody, I understand a whole lot more. My ears are open, right? A whole lot more to these things. And I'm grateful to have been given an opportunity to share my experiences, to change some things, to have an impact on stuff, right? So I don't walk around with a chip on my shoulder anymore. I walk around with pride. And growing up Catholic, pride's a sin. So that's been pretty hard for me, right? You're constantly thinking you're a fake, you're an imposter. I didn't really do these things. These are the things I'm supposed to do. I'm just an imposter. Man, knock that shit out of your head, right? Because if you zoom out, like Albert and I like to say, if you zoom out, you'll see that you are unique, right? However you want to pose it, you're unique. As a veteran, you're one of 3% of the entire country, right? And I think it might even be less than that now. If you've deployed, you're even less than that. If you've been injured in combat, you're even less than that of the population, right? So you are unique. Your situation is unique. What is not unique is the emotions and the feelings that you go through, right? So don't think that just because your experience has led you to a unique situation that you yourself have no one else to talk to, right? That's what we're here for. There are people out here who want to listen to you. They want to help you. They want you to know that it's okay to not be okay. If you're struggling, let's talk. Look, man, it's I don't even know how to do that here. Right? It's right there. It's in our logo. If you're struggling with something, man, talk about it, right? Reach out. I had a buddy from the military reach out last 2 weeks ago asking for a buddy letter, right? Do you know what a buddy letter is? A buddy letter is a letter from someone that you served with in the military anywhere, deployed location, here at home, whatever, that can attest to what that veteran is claiming, right? Um, they saw you fall. right? They were at the explosion. They saw your reaction after. They know how your personality changed. They were with you 24/7. Um, Stuff like that. It's also called a nexus letter, right? A nexus letter is from a doctor or a specialist that can say, look, man, it is more likely than not that your problem, your issue that you're claiming happened because of military service. A buddy letter is essentially the same thing, saying, look, man, I was there, I was with him, this is what I saw, and I think you should approve it, right? Um, so don't think that there's nobody out there that can help you, because that's the farthest thing from the truth. Just because you're not getting the help you think you deserve at a veterans clinic, veterans hospital, there's other things out there that you can go do, right? There's other things out there that you can go see. So I just wanted to share that with y'all real quick. And now we're going to go into some pretty cool stuff. I am apparently live on TikTok right now. Like I said, I'm from a deployed location, so I don't have all my setup that I used to have. I don't know if we're going live right now or not. So if anybody could tell me that we're live, shoot me a text from wherever, and you can help me out. Now I got stuff growing everywhere on my screen, and this is not cool. All right. This is pretty neat. It's a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but it does come with its challenges, right? So here we are. All right, we got Patrick Drabeck, Steve Plazo, and the Urban Centurion. Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate you very, very much. Checking back and forth in between the live stream and the YouTube channel. All right, so we got the Michigan Metal Fest stuff done on there. We're going to put some Save 22 stuff up on here, and we're going to talk about that real quick. So this weekend is July 11 and 12. We have recently partnered with the IHRA. If you know about the IHRA, International Hot Rod Association, they are back in business after about a 10-year hiatus, absence, right? They've got some new ownership. Daryl Cottle and our friend Tyler Shinneberry. They contacted us when we were with Lex June at a race in Norwalk a couple weeks ago, and they have been nothing but gracious in there. Hey, Crystal, thank you. Crystal says TikTok is working, so that's awesome. Thank you very much, Crystal. Crystal is our secretary and my motorsports counterpart in Save 22. She does a lot of the photo stuff with Daylight Customs Creative and Lex June. Check her out. Check out Lex June and all the pictures from her. That picture of me in the black and white with the head down, sweat dripping off my head at Norwalk, that was Crystal and Daylight Customs Creative. So thank you for that, Crystal. You know, so the IHRA contacted us. I had a meeting with Tyler, a little lunch date out in Ontario last week, and the IHRA has given us 125 two-pack tickets to distribute accordingly to veterans and first responders in our circle. So they are individual PDF flyers with an individual code on them. They authorize you 2 free tickets. If you have a family of 4 or 6 or 8 and you want to bring them down, please email me. We'll put you know what? You can email me here at Tuesday Talk, right here. Email me at Tuesday Talk if you want tickets for that. I'll get them over to you somehow. We'll email them back to you. I would like to see everything distributed by Wednesday at noon. I am on the road Thursday morning down to Columbus to be with the IHRA and Lex June. Lex is going to race the Nitro Drag top Nitro Dragster, I think is the class that they're calling it. We'll be down there the Friday and Saturday. I'll be down there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We are racing qualifying at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and then 7 o'clock at night on Friday, followed by eliminations on Saturday. So the IHRA is doing a little something where they're cutting down the cost a little bit. They're keeping it 1 day shorter, 1 less round of racing, 2 less rounds of qualifying, trying to keep the money at bay, right? The NHRA has 4 qualifying sessions and 4 rounds of eliminations. So the IHRA is going to do 2 rounds of qualifying and 3 rounds of races. So instead of a 16-car field, they have an 8-car field. Should help out the smaller, lower budgeted teams, such as Lex June and ourselves. But a big shout out to Lex for all that he's doing just to go racing. He and I have had many, many conversations, personal and professional. And the man and the family, the team are just absolutely incredible with their never quit attitude and how much they care about giving back. Um, talk about giving back in Lex's story. You'll hear him say that when he first got to the U.S., he saw veterans walking around. Well, he didn't know they were veterans. He saw people walking around missing limbs, missing legs, a lot of people in wheelchairs, things like that. And he didn't understand it. And then he finally realized that it was the veterans that were the majority were this way that he was running into. In the Netherlands, in his upbringing, they didn't see that, right? It wasn't as prevalent. They're a pretty neutral country. They don't get involved in a lot of stuff. Their military is not as large, right? The country's not as large. They don't have as many people. He wasn't exposed to it as much. And when he came over here, he decided it would, you know what, I got to give back to these people that have given so much of themselves um, for me to be able to live like this, to live his dream of drag racing with the best in the world in the NHRA, the IHRA now, and just a phenomenal story from Lex and Gerda and the people that we have come down and visit us in the pits, hang out for a little bit. They get a little piece of that. They see how awesome Lex and Gerda and the entire team is. You know, we have people like Big Fish Barbecue who come down and cook for us for a couple days, and Daylight Customs Creative who are doing your Daylight Creative Customs. I don't remember. But, I got to turn off my text messages there. All right, we'll get that off there. So, that's what you get. You get a real a human being, right? Not a celebrity, not a star. You get to hear his story and he will happily tell you about the car and how they're doing and what they plan to do. And if you got any semblance of mechanical ability and you can follow directions, man, come around, right? Hang out. It's an all volunteer crew. Rick Chavez, man, that dude is a retired Air Force guy as well, former first sergeant as well. He and I have different first sergeant tendencies, but we are always learning from something from each other at the racetrack, no doubt. So big shout out to my buddy Rick. Um, can't wait to see you down in Columbus, buddy. So Crystal's going to be coming down. We're giving a little community service work to a couple veterans as well. We're going to be out there. We're going to have our canopy. We're going to have a table. We're going to have some merch set up, some stickers, bandanas, things like that. Come by and see us Friday and Saturday, July 11th and 12th, down at National Trail Raceway in Columbus, Ohio. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about our Airbnb host real quick. I'm not going to bring out her name. I'm not going to share a lot of her story, but she's going to meet us because she herself is impacted by a veteran with PTSD, and it just happens to be her son. Um, Her son is currently living on the streets in Washington, D.C., and he suffers from PTSD. We're going to talk. We're going to have some discussions and see how Safe 22 can help out. So listen, man, if you're struggling, don't be embarrassed by it, right? I want man up, right? Suck it up and tell somebody you don't know what to do. You don't know what's going on. How can I fix this? Right? And we'll help you. We'll guide you. It's not a hand out, okay? It is a hand up, right? I didn't get sober by myself, right? I didn't change my attitude by myself. I didn't lose my suicidal ideations by myself. I may have been the one to make the decision to not do it anymore, but there were other people around me that helped me. Those people were positive influences in my life. They are not people that I would not take advice from. They are people who have overcome the same difficulties, right? I hung out with the 17, the 20, the 30-year sober people in AA. I learned from them. I called them when I had a problem. I got through it, right? They took the time to sit with me when I was struggling and help me understand my life, my situation, my brain, my thinking a little bit more, a little bit better. And that is what Save 22 can do for you. Tom, we talk about it quite often, how Tom spent, 5 days on the phone with me after my suicide attempt. And I had originally reached out to Hacker Jason with Save 22, and he said, "Bro, I don't have any of these emotions, these thoughts. I've never been there, right? I can't help you with this, but I know somebody who can." And he handed me Tom's number, and I called Tom, and Tom said, "Look, man, I'm working, but at 5 minutes after 3, I will call you back, and we will talk until I get home at 3:35." And I said, "Okay." That's exactly what I needed at the time. I needed someone to tell me what to do and when to do it. And then I followed the directions, right? I did what they said, which was call somebody, right? And then I just started talking. If Tom ever gets on here, I'd like him to tell me about the what he heard when I first talked to him, if he even remembers. That's been 9 years ago, right? So um, my remembrance of that, my memories of that situation was my brain was a roller coaster. It felt like a roller coaster ride of a shit ton of ups and downs with 1,000 rubber bouncy balls going through my head. I had no idea how to make sense of anything that was going on. Um, I was recently retired. I had just received 100% disability. That was helping out a lot. I had just bought a new truck as a kind of a gift, retirement gift to myself. And I get a letter from the VA that stated, "We're taking your benefit because you owe us $24,000. Now, um, I flipped. I freaked out. And I thought there was no way that I'm going to get through this. How am I going to do this? I'm going to lose my truck. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. That's the extreme thinker in me, right? And the reality of the situation is this. Once I got my shit straight, got my stuff together, I realized that I could make a phone call to the VA and figure out what the debt was for and why they were taking so much. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It took me 17 months to get it straightened out. But what that phone call did was show me that there are other avenues to pay that debt back. It doesn't have to happen at 100% all the time. So I gave him $200 a month until it was paid off. So you do the math. I don't even know how long that was. It was years, right? But what that forced me to do was reach out to someone who had been in debt, who had owed money to the VA, and that just happened to be James Powers. And in that week that this happened, I saw an article in the newspaper. For those of you who are young, a newspaper is a periodical. It's printed on paper with black ink, and you can read it right in front of you. It's not on your phone, right? You actually used to pay a quarter to pick one up on Mondays and 75 cents on Sundays. Um, but we used to read those things. That's how we got our information. And in that article, it talks about him taking a drive to DC and standing at Senator Ron Portman's door, waiting for Senator Portman to come in so he could tell his story about how wrong this is and how the VA operates and recoups debts that are owed. So I hooked up with James, and you know what? That story took another 3 years to come to fruition, maybe even longer, with a Senate bill that got passed that changed the way that the VA recoups debts from veterans. And it's all because James went up and knocked on a door, and I called him, and we both got to testify. We both got to share our stories with US senators and congressmen and people who were working to affect change. Now, we didn't get all the changes that we were hoping for, but we got a select few that will limit, if not alleviate or eliminate, what happened to James and I from ever happening to another veteran again. Those things that happen to us won't happen anymore. The VA is now limited on the amount of time they can look back for a problem, right? I think it's 5 or 7 years now. Before they could go back 10, 15, 20 years and collect the debt if they found it, which to me is asinine. It's ridiculous that you can go back that far and say, "Oh, by the way, people that don't even work here anymore made a mistake. And oh, by the way, you're 75 years old and count on this money, but we're going to go ahead and take it from you anyway because, there was a mistake. So we paid you too much. So we're going to take that back." Well, that can't happen anymore. There's an investigation. And if the investigation decides that or determines that there was no fault of the veteran, it wasn't done by the veteran to purposely defraud the VA and collect funds, then that debt is wiped away from that veteran and the VA eats that debt, right? The other thing that happens now too is they are limited to 25% recoup rate, which means if you're collecting $1,000 a month from the VA, they can only take 250 maximum from you, right? If you're collecting $4,000 at 100%, they can only take $1,000 from you at a time until that debt is fully paid off. Incredible news, incredible stuff. And all we did was share our stories and we talked about it. Um, but we talked to the right people, right? We found the ones that could affect the change that we were looking for. We weren't talking to our buddy down at the bar, right? We weren't bitching about our situation. We were actively searching for a way to change the world, right? Change our situation. Now, James and I both had to pay our money back, right? That bill did not help James and I at all. But what it did do is help the next guy in line. And I think that's what we're here for, right? We're here to live, to learn, and to teach, right? So I think that's what we've done. We've done that with that. And inside of Save 22, I think we do the same thing. We make ourselves available to say, look, guys, if you're stuck in your house, if you're stuck in a rut, if you're stuck in this negative thinking, this anger, this frustration, and you just can't seem to get happy, come talk to us, right? Come talk to us. Call Jason, call Al, call me, call anybody that you see with a Save 22 shirt on that has these experiences. Talk to your buddy. Maybe you got a buddy out there that you know openly talks about his struggles and how he's doing. I will caution you though, right? I will caution you. Um, at some point, you have to stop talking about it. At some point, you have to stop talking about that which hurt you, um, whether it was physical or emotional. At some point, you just have to accept it. And what are you going to do today? Many of you know that I have back injuries. I have hardware in my back. I have a replaced shoulder, right? Titanium, whatever it is. Multiple surgeries. Quite possibly have a brain injury. We're going to find that out next week. So what do you do with it, right? Do you sit and complain that I can't work 12, 15 hours a day anymore? Or do you sit back and go, you know what? I might get a couple, 3 good hours today. So I'm going to accomplish this, right? Cut your cut your tasks into sections that are achievable um, for where you are right now, right? If you've neglected the laundry for a week and a half and there's 3 kids in the house and your laundry's piled up and you just don't want to do it, so you sit in front of your phone and avoid the problem, it's only going to get bigger. So go tackle it, right? One load at a time. You got the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, right? You're never going to complete a 1,000-mile journey in the first 100 yards. It's not going to happen, but you have to start, right? I have a very, very dear friend, and what am I going to call her? I'm just going to call her my friend. Struggled, struggled mightily with the things that she went through, that she had to endure. And the main reason that she struggled is because she didn't see it happening, which I think is true for a lot of us, right? We don't see what's hurting us. We don't see what others are doing or saying because we're focused on A, B, or C. When the reality hit her, it was very hard for her to take, for her to accept and to understand that she could move forward from it. Um, I am happy to report that that lady, my dear, dear friend, is now productive. She's happy. She is smiling. She's dating. She's enjoying life. And why is she enjoying life? Because she accepted what happened and she is moving forward. She is taking that step to not be that person anymore. And it's change, right? That's what it is. You're the only one that can affect that change. Nobody else can do it. right? You have to take that step. You have to be committed. You have to be dedicated to not being the person you were yesterday. Whether that means you don't want to get angry in traffic, which I know is that's a really hard one, but that's a good place to start, right? So if you're sitting in traffic and you're angry, you're upset, and my wife's gonna laugh at this one because I was a bear this weekend coming back in July 4th traffic. I actually had to get out of the truck and let her drive the rest of the way, which wasn't really fair because there was no traffic for her on the way home after I got out and let her drive. But you know, you want to talk about an easy way to start. Start with the driving, right? In fact, we can start even sooner than that. And let's start with the way you get up in the morning. Let's start with that. Are you waking up with your alarm, before your alarm, or are you hitting the snooze button three, four, five, six times, right? And then rushing to get everything done and get out the door, right? I got to shower. I got to do my hair, my makeup. Obviously, I don't have a hair and a makeup problem, but you understand what I'm saying. Are you running? Are you rushing? Are you angry at every red light? Are you upset that other people are doing the speed limit when you're late for work and you have to speed to get there on time? Well, whose fault is it? It ain't the guy doing the speed limit. It's yours because you got up late. So back it up, right? Back up and figure out why you're angry. Why are you angry? My guess is probably got a lot to do with you and how you handle the situation, right? Are you rushing when you get home to figure out something for dinner, right? Do you have to rush and go get the kids? Do you have to do this? Do you have to do that? Change your words, right? You get to wake up this morning. You get to take a nice hot shower. You get to put on makeup and do your hair because you're still here. You get to experience this thing called life, right? Life is a gift. I don't care what you call it, God, creator, Buddha, Allah, whatever that guy's name from L. Ron Hubbard from Dianetics and Scientology. I don't care. Your creator, whatever you got to do. This is a gift, right? The odds are far more stacked against you to not be here than they are to be here, right? So you've been given a gift, a chance, an opportunity to experience life, all of it. And how arrogant, how narcissistic, how selfish of you to think that nothing's gonna suck, right? That everything's gonna be candies and rainbows. Well, that shit just ain't true, right? There are things that are gonna suck. They're gonna hurt. The death of a loved one. You're the victim of a crime. Military sexual trauma. Suicide in the family. Cancer. Whatever you're going through, right? It's life. It's what we're going through. Um, if you have a roof over your head and a couple dollars in the bank and you're able to go get food and clothe your children and take them to their baseball games and their basketball tryouts and go to cheerleading, man, you're winning, right? You're winning. You're still here, right? If you saw the show last week or 2 weeks ago with Tiffany, I asked her what it was like with me being gone. And I think a lot of veterans struggle with the what we missed, right? The FOMO, the fear of missing out. That unfortunately we weren't there with everything. We weren't around. Hey, look at this. We got a lot of comments here on the YouTube. I'll get to those in just a minute. I want to continue this thought with Tiffany real quick. Um, we struggle with I can't be there, right? I can't help. Something happened at the house. Look, guys, our air conditioner has died, our heater has died, our well has gone dry, my septic is backed up, we lost the internet, propane went empty, right? Had to have an emergency fill. My wife wrecked a car, not wrecked, but hit a mattress on the way back from me leaving for a deployment and drug that thing for I don't know how long. She'll have to tell that story. I can't remember it, but all these things happen. I deployed, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 times. I can't remember. Um, Something's going to happen. So it's just gonna, and there's nothing that you can do about it. You made a choice to be in the military. You may say that you didn't have a choice, but I guarantee you did because we're an all volunteer force now, right? Nobody that's active now was drafted. Nobody. Now, you may have been given an option from the judge that says, look, bro, military or jail. That's still a choice, right? You made a choice. Um, whether you chose to serve for the educational benefits because you had nothing else to do because you thought it would be cool to deploy for 4 years, or you thought like me and, hey, I want to go to war. Okay, I made a choice, man. I went and I did it and I'm here, right? Did it suck? Yep. Was it hard? Yep. But it's not happening today. And as my son says, there ain't nobody trying to kill me here today. At least nobody that I know of is trying to kill me today, right? So there's no reason for me to be upset, right? Wake up and be grateful that you got to wake up this morning, right? Look outside, look at the sun, pet your dog, have a nice cup of coffee, slow yourself down in the morning to give yourself a start for the day, right? Because if you're constantly rushing, your day's going to suck. How about you slow your brain down a little bit, right? And we do that by starting a little bit earlier, just just a little bit. You might only need 15 minutes, right? Maybe you need to do some yoga, some meditation, some thinking during the day, right? Take it. Take that 10 minutes, man. Fuck everybody else. Go take 10 minutes. It's only 10 minutes. It's only 10 minutes, right? Let's let's go check out some of these comments today. Does anyone know of legal services? I was fired after telling my manager in HR I was depressed and suicidal in February this year. Army vet 02 to 05. I'm pretty sure what they did was illegal. SGB, I don't know what SGB is back in June, and I super appreciate it, but I'm going back through it nearly every day, spent in tears and silence in the bathroom several times. I will tell you this. There's avenues. There's avenues. If you were fired from a job while you were activated, you can go through the ESGR, Employer Supportive Guard and Reserve. That is illegal to fire you or terminate you because of your activation. But I will also tell you that some people, some corporations are very good at wording their termination letters to not cite military service. So be very, very careful with that. Steve Plazo said he was embarrassed by what he was going through. Took a conversation with me, our host, thank you, to finally make some changes. I wish I knew how to do what you are saying. It is hard when the thoughts, flashes, and doubts keep crushing you. Well, I'll tell you this, it is hard. You're not wrong. Um, what words are you listening to? Right? If you're talking to yourself, change the words you're using to talk to yourself. Steve knows about this. Steve and I had this conversation multiple times. What words are you using to describe yourself? Um, Let me see what else we have. TikTok says, I also don't know how to get the stress out of my neck and throat. It is always tight, like I am being choked. Yep, all of that. I was raped, beaten, buried. Both folks at 16, the Army, and all in it. Then 2020, best friend, Marine vet, suicide. Then February this year, friend. I am crushing under the weight. My brain doesn't stop. Stellate ganglion block. Oh, is that the shot to rewire the brain there, TikTok? I think that's the blocker, right? Yes, silent watch. Yep, there it is. It just popped up. Yeah. So, um, dude, shoot me an email. Shoot me an email right here at Tuesday Talk, and we'll talk. Okay. I want you to tell me right now, though, here in the comments that you're safe, that you're in a safe spot, and I'm gonna wait for that to pop up. So I hope you're here. TikTok, send me a message that says you're safe right now. And we're going to wait for that to happen. Yes, the block from Dr. Mulvaney's office. Okay. And we have a little delay, right, from my live to YouTube. So just waiting here for just a second. Okay, yes, I am safe. Great. All right, TikTok. Changing the words you use to describe yourself. Hey, you know what, dude? We all fight those tears, right? But how about if you let them come out, right? How about if you stop fighting them and you let it come out and you let yourself feel that emotion, whatever it is. Feel the sadness, feel the grief, right? Feel the emptiness, feel the fear, feel it all right here, right now, knowing that I'm sitting with you. Maybe not physically, but I'm here with you, right? Because while you're talking to me, texting me through the YouTube video, I'm going right back to where I was when I have to go through these things. And I just did it last year when I lost my dad. Man, and when I lost Moto, or we lost Moto, not me, we lost Moto. Um, it can be unbearable. It can be a lot. But I assure you that if you let it out and you let the tears run down, they are going to be a different type of tear, right? They're not going to be a salty, dirty tear. They're going to be a clean tear. And what I mean by that is when you say what you're feeling out loud, like, I miss you, I'm sorry. Okay, TikTok, you're not a downer. I'm going to stop you right there. This this is what brings you back into your negativity of self, right? You're not a downer. You are an individual who suffered a lot of shit and you don't know how to handle it. So cry. Cry right now, let it out, and we'll move on from it. If it takes you 30 seconds of crying to just let it out, then let it out. It's 30 seconds. I'll liken it to this. What you're fighting is your own fear of letting go of that situation. You don't want to look at that situation or those situations. You don't want to look at them because they were scary, they were terrifying, they were frightening, they make you feel a certain way, and you don't want to go back there again. But you're continuing to look at them with, and I'll just say it, negative words, right? Negative words. So you have to change that perspective of how you're looking at yourself from that situation. What I see, here's what I see, right? And I don't even know you. I want this to be clear. TikTok gaming, I don't even know this person. They're just commenting, but they're an army vet who's buried both their parents, who has been raped and beaten. Friends have committed suicide. You're not alone. You're not alone. See that? I'm looking right at you. You're not alone. I know for a fact that there are people on here right now who have been raped and beaten, right? And they're living every day too. It doesn't mean that it hurt. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that it didn't suck. You're here right now. You're here right now. And I thank you for being here, right? I'm proud of you for putting this into words, right? There's so many people who can't even put it into words. You've put it into words. You've said it, right? Now say it out loud, right? Say those words out loud. Say I was raped. Say I was beaten. Say I buried both my parents. And then tell yourself you're a badass because you made it through it. You're through it. All those things are done. They're done. They're not going to happen again. They are not going to happen again. You will never have to bury your parents again, right? You never have to go back through the army again. You've done it. It's over. This is your chance to live your life. And how do you want to live it? Do you want to live it cowering in a corner? Do you want to be afraid of society? Do you want to be afraid of ever being open again? I didn't. I didn't. So I changed. I changed. Yes, sir. There he is. Look at that. Man, just go cry. I'm telling you, if you need somebody to talk to, you need somebody to hang on. See that right down there? Tuesday Talk. Wait, I think it's over here. Tuesday Talk. Save22.vet. Dude, email me and we will talk. Right? I don't know where you're at, but Save 22 is an organization that prides itself on not caring about whose name is on the front of the shirt or the back of the shirt. We're interested in helping veterans, whether that means the Veteran Service Commission, whether that means a VA helper, um, private mental health services. Man, guys, help me out here on here. Um, I emailed you, but yes, I'm going to step away to the bathroom for a minute to let it out. You don't need to let it out. Sit right there. Unless you're at work, then you got to do your thing. Go to your car. Keep us going. Just in Ashland, Ohio. Brother, I was just out there. I was just out there. I'd love to have you come down to our IHRA event this weekend. I really, really would. So I will email you back after the show today, and we'll talk a little bit, right? We'll talk a little bit. Let's see what else we got here. Steve Plazo. Yeah, Steve's not wrong. Far from be better, but I've taken. See, I'll tell you again, bro. I'll tell you again, bro. You got to change the words you're using to talk about yourself. Far from being better, right? But I've taken the first step. So, you're telling yourself that you're not better. I would tell you that you are better. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, right? Um, yeah, Tim Chandler over at Silent Watch. And thank you. And bless you too, man. Like you guys are, everybody's okay, right? We're just going through some shit, man. That's it. That's it. We're just going through it. I had not expected at all to see any of this or be in this position today. And TikTok, man, I really thank you. Yeah, man, thanks for helping me realize where I was and I don't want to go back to, and realizing why we do this, right? Save 22, struggling, let's talk. It isn't just our slogan, right? It's not our phrase. It's true. It's what we do. Um, the bottom line though is you can't stay there, right? It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. You can't stay there, right? You can't let one moment in time ruin an entire day or life. This journey is amazing. It is going to have ups and downs. It is going to be amazing if you let it, but you have to let it, right? You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable at times, right? We've talked about it before where um, Save 22 and Albert Wooden got me out of my shell and got me down to a race at Mid Ohio and showed me by myself, by the way, right? There were no other Save 22 veterans there. It was just me. It was a Marine veteran who ran the team. Excuse me, sponsored by Gas Monkey Energy, Alliance Racing, I believe it was. We're talking shit, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, I think it was. Hey, power's back on. Woohoo! So I'll be home after the meeting there, honey, after we do the Tuesday talk, but thanks for that. They got me out of my shell and I was uncomfortable. And I spent weeks fighting it in my head, right? Don't go. It's going to suck. You don't know anything about IndyCar. You've never been around eating cars. You're a roundy round guy. You're not a road courser, open wheels. You don't know anything about these Honda engines. Um, yeah, that was so stupid. That's just self sabotage, is all that is. Really, it is. It's just self sabotage. You're talking yourself out of it because you're afraid of what could be. And what could be is it could change your life, right? That one event, that one day, that one person could change your entire perspective on everything that you've been through. But you don't want to go do it because you're comfortable where you're at, whether you're comfortable being uncomfortable, you're comfortable being mad and pissed off and upset, or you want to change something. But if you don't change something, you're accepting it. You're choosing it. So if you're choosing to be depressed and sad and angry and upset all the time, I can't help you. But if you want to change, you are the only one that can do it. You're the only one that can do it. I know that because I did it. Ask my wife, ask my family, ask the people around me the most how much I've changed in the last 10 years since Save 22 started, since I started listening to the Save 22 guys, since I started getting involved, right? And doing what I love to do, right? Using my gifts effectively. I'm not working. This ain't work, right? This Tuesday talk is not work. This is fun for me. This is exciting for me. Um, Patrick says, breathe, listen to the words people are telling you. It will pass. Trust me. Please reach out if you need help, not only to the guys at Save 22, but don't forget the Veterans Crisis Line at 988, right? Back when I had my suicide attempt, there was no Veterans Crisis Line. When I called the VA and told them that I was contemplating suicide and I had a pistol in my hand the night before, off safety and ready to go, I got put on hold. That's correct. The lady, young girl, actually at the VA said, please hold. She didn't know what to do. We didn't have the 988 crisis line back then. And I got a good friend, Donnie, who worked the crisis line as a program manager for many years at the VA. And now he is living his dream of traveling Europe for rugby. So, you know what? Kudos to Donnie. It took years for him to get his rating because he worked for the VA. It is a struggle. It is hard, but there are people out there that know how to navigate the systems, right? TikTok, I don't want to live like this. I know that. I am miserable most of the time, fighting back the feeling. I am here and I'm listening and trying one breath, one step, one day at a time. Brother, that is all that you can do, right? That is it, right? One step, one breath at a time. And you know what? If you're still looking forward to tomorrow, to next week, to whatever, look at your watch, look at your phone, and I want you to sit there and watch it for 1 minute, right? Put a timer on. Put a timer on it. And in that 1 minute, the only thing I want you to tell yourself is everything is okay, right? Everything is okay because you're warm, you're over in Ashland, Ohio, you're safe, you're talking to people, you're getting your emotions out. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. That's called a mindfulness moment, right? That mindfulness moment will bring you back to realizing that you're not where you think you are, right? Our brain is a powerful thing, man. It will convince you of shit that is so far from the truth. Dude, there's you have to retrain your brain. You have to retrain your brain. It's not easy. It's not easy, but you have the tools, right? We'll teach you the tools. I'm curious if you are drinking, if you are using drugs, and you don't have to say if you are or not. I'm just curious. If you are, that's okay. I will tell you that what it did to me was cloud my thinking. The alcohol use definitely clouded my thinking, and I do use medicinal cannabis now and then with a prescription. I've seen a doc. I tell my VA docs. I've told my counselors, and you know what? Everything's great. The reason I feel like everything is great is I'm not ingesting the cocktail of drugs that were prescribed by the VA and psych docs, right? I'm not a zombie, right? I'm not 278 pounds. You know, that's another thing, man. I've lost over 100 pounds in the past couple years. And no, no drugs, no drinking. I was using THC vapes, but decided that they were not helping in any way. In fact, I think, more anxiety. So that's true. That happens with many people I talk to. Here's what I did. I took a joint. I'll just tell you, I took a joint several years ago. Took a couple hits. It did exactly what I wanted it to do, which was slow my brain down. And then I started researching. I started researching cannabinoids. I started researching indica, sativa, hybrids. I started reading and educating myself on what each of those cannabinoids do and how they affect me. And then I got my medical card, and I would talk to the people at the dispensary and be like, look, this is what I want it to be used for. Um, this is what I don't want to happen. So I would annotate the cannabinoids in the cannabis and take notes on what it did, you know, and I figured out what works for me. Now, I still run into issues where, oh, that one's not working right. But I know, right? It's a tool. I've been educated. I educated myself on what I'm putting into my body. I did that with food. The VA told me that we had, what's it called? Gulf War syndrome. And Gulf War syndrome is a stomach issue and snot and all these other things that they've lumped into one thing. And they said there's nothing that you can do about it. I didn't like that answer. I didn't like that answer. I didn't like feeling sick all the time, nauseous and nasty, and couldn't take a solid number two and all these things. So I decided to stop eating. Not the right thing to do, but that's what I did. And I didn't eat for 3 days. Now I had a protein shake. I drank a lot of water. No snacks, no candy, no chips, no anything. So great, right? Let's figure it out. And then I started putting in chicken and rice and fish and veggies for about 2, 3 weeks. And I dropped like 25 pounds right away. Um, that helped, right? Let's see what he's got. He's come off some drugs. Heavy weed smoker growing up. In fact, pissed hot twice in the service because of, I don't know what that exertional compartment syndrome is. I don't know what that means. I think it's a circulation issue. So I see a lot of because. Those are, I'm just going to tell you, those are excuses. Um, true talk, right? I understand that you're in pain and your parents battled with addiction. That doesn't mean you have to, right? Just because of where you came from doesn't mean that's what you're slated to be or do. Um, both my grandfathers were alcoholics. My mother's grandfather was an abusive alcoholic. Um, my uncles pulled a shotgun on him to make him leave the house and never heard from him again. Um, I'm an alcoholic. Um, 17 years I've been without alcohol. I was raised Catholic. That ought to tell you quite a bit, right? Um, guilt on everything that I do. Anything that led me to joy was a sin. It was guilty. I was guilty, and I had to be sorry for it and repent. Um, horrible, horrible way to live as a kid, not understanding what acceptance and penance and moving on meant, right? I compartmentalized a lot of stuff. I spent a lot of time in my room alone. I didn't have a whole lot of friends. Never attended one graduation party. Um, I worked, right? I was committed to working and being a hard ass. And, I fought. I felt like I fought every day in school because I was little. And I kept that chip on my shoulder for many, many years. Just recently, a friend of mine told me, you know what, you were a real dick when I met. You were intimidating. And I thought, how can I be intimidating, right? I'm not a big guy. And he goes, bro, take a look at this picture of you. Now, 5'10", 275, beard, tatted up, motorcycle, vest. Apparently, that's intimidating to some people. Um, I will tell you, I was searching for myself, right? I was trying to be what I thought I needed to be. And that's not who I need to be. I don't like being a tough guy. I don't like being a hard ass, right? I don't like being violent. I don't like it at all. I don't feel good when I do it. So what makes me feel good is a collared shirt, right? A pullover, dressing nice, keeping my beard trimmed, um, wearing decent clothes, taking my wife out looking well, right? Standing with my shoulders back and my head up. Those are the things that make me feel good. Um, but I had to go through that, right? I had to go through that period of 7 or 8 years of riding a Harley, riding fast, making it loud, modifying it, big stereo, big pipes, big cam, being obnoxious, right? Riding fast. I had to get it out. Well, I got it out. I don't need to do that anymore. Do I miss it? No, not really. Not really. Yep, you are going to feel tight and pent up inside. So, you know what? I need you to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm not going to feel this way anymore. And when these feelings come in, I'm going to tell myself that I'm a badass and I can get through it. I've gotten through it before and I'm going to do it again and I'm going to be happy. And when you do that, I guarantee you things will change, right? Every time you feel yourself going down that negative path of being angry and upset and pissed off, stop yourself, ground yourself. Do that mindfulness minute. Take your shoes off, walk in the grass, ground yourself, release that electrical charge inside your body straight into the ground, just like a computer does, right? Grounded. Ground yourself and understand that in this moment, right here, right now, 11:13 a.m. on July the 8th, 2025, everything is okay. Everything is okay. All that shit that happened that you're holding up, pen up, doesn't matter. You have succeeded and survived in spite of all that shit. Now go forth and do good. Go forth and be happy, right? Tell people that you went through it. I don't feel like bringing it up all the time, but if it pops up in conversation, let them know, hey man, I made it through it. You can too. And here's how I did it. I made a concerted effort to accept everything that has happened to me. Everything. Everything I've done to other people, all the good, all the bad, I accept all of it because I know who I am today, right? And I am who I am today because of all that shit, right? Because of all that stuff, I am who I am today. Now, I can choose to be angry and upset and pissed off, or I can wake up and love the fact that my dog wakes me up every morning with this little 9 pound Shih Tzu right here at my face. And I have certain things that have to be done every morning. So I get up, I make coffee, coffee's ready for me. I let the dogs out, feed the dogs, do the thing. Start your day on a positive note. Every morning, I want you to start your day on a positive note. And if you can do that, things will change. And I know you hear me, and I'm glad you hear me. And I thank you for listening. Um, hey, it looks like our power's back on. Oh, no, its power's back off. Okay, we are good to go. I want to talk about I'm going to switch gears a minute here. Talk about motorsports again. TikTok, stick around. We will. Oh yeah, I got to get off of here in less than an hour. I do have a VA appointment today, so up there's Trish telling me it is on AAP is just late. All right, so TikTok, I got your email. I'm going to verify that I have it real quick. There it is. All right. I got your name. I got your number. I will email you back and we will get this going. We'll put you in touch with some people that can help. In fact, I have a dear friend out there at Gargoyle Garage who he's in Ashland as well. Great guy. Um, TikTok, I I love you. I love you. I'm proud of you, man. That's It's hard to just jump on here and tell a complete stranger what happened and you did it. And I'm proud of you for doing that. And days will get better, I promise. They will get better. But again, it happens one step at a time, right? One step at a time. So give yourself that small victory, right? Give yourself that victory. Give yourself some credit, some accolades today, right now, for the rest of the day, to say, I'm doing it, right? I want you to tell yourself that the rest of the day. Tell yourself the rest of the day that I am making a change. I am going to be happy the rest of the day, no matter what happens. Nobody is going to steal that joy from me today. I am making a decided effort, a concerted effort, a conscious effort to change my attitude. And you do that through the words that you use to describe the situation that you're in, right? Change the words, change your perspective, change your life. Guys, I got to really bolt out of here, but let's talk about motorsports real quick. I have about 110 tickets left for this weekend's event down at the IHRA at National Trail Raceway in Columbus, Ohio. Shoot me an email right here at Tuesday Talk to get those tickets, or you can email my Save22 account, jmoser at save22.vet. It's blasted all over the socials. At save22.vet. It's on our Facebook page. I probably shared it through TikTok. I really don't know what I'm doing right now. We got a little somebody throwing me some hearts, and I really appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. And I will also say that our reach on YouTube has increased. I believe it was 160% over the last 30 days. So thank you to everybody for that. So please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Share the content on socials. You know, we've avoided social media for a long time, really diving into it now, and realizing that it's not going to go away, right? It's going to be here, and this is the way so many people get their interactions. So look for us on the webs, save22.vet. It's right there, or maybe it's right there. I don't know what number I'm using here, right? That 833 I save 22, right? Reach out, leave us a message. Somebody will pick up, call you back. We do have 5 people answering the phones. They rotate, right? They rotate. Keep in mind, we're all volunteers. Only 2 of us are retired. The rest of us all have jobs, families, lives, and sometimes things take time. So if you're in a crisis, if you're having a hard time and you don't know what to do, please dial 911, dial 988, go to a local emergency room, tell them that you're a veteran and you're struggling. I guarantee you they will help you. Don't worry about the insurance. Don't worry about the cost. Just go get the help. Um, there are many organizations around here that can assist you if it comes to that. If you're in an addiction crisis, if you're in a mental health crisis, and you need some help, there are organizations out there we have connections with, right? If you've been in a little bit of legal trouble, we're with, I think it's called Honor Court out of Massillon. Our buddy Stan over there is a mentor coach. And we're actually doing some community service with a veteran this weekend, excuse me, right? To help him clear that off his record. So, you know, there's many options, there's many opportunities. And even if you don't know what to say, I'm sure one of us can drag it out of you. So reach out, right? TikTok Gaming, my brother, thank you again for being here today. I hope it helped at least you. We've always said if we can help one, then our mission is successful. And I believe that you're that one today. Steve is always on here telling us how much we've helped him. So, you know, we really appreciate Steve coming in here and sharing his positivity and struggles with us. Steve, I'll bet you're listening in the wood shop, and that last polyuro coating thing that you did, man, that was absolutely beautiful. So keep at it, brother. Keep at it. You're doing great. Yeah, keep us on your radar, if you will. Check us out. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're absolutely everywhere. Ryan Roulette, thank you. Ryan Roulette Racing. He shares all of our stuff. He's an ARCA racer, also an active duty Air Force pilot. I want to give big thanks and kudos to him. I want to say thank you to Mike Harmon Racing, and especially our sister Karen. Karen, we absolutely love you and all that you've done for all the veterans and first responders that you've hosted at the racetrack. Want to say thank you to Patrick Drabick. Patrick and Goat Locker are doing amazing things over there in Indiana in the sim racing world. Proud to be associated with those guys, partner and lead sponsor on their Goat Talk Live Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. So check them out. If you're into sim racing, give them a like and a follow. If you're a veteran in the Indiana area, reach out to them as well. They can maybe help hook you up with some pretty cool sim racing stuff. Be on the lookout for them. They are in some great talks with some great organizations. Very excited to see what they have coming up next for them. We'll be down in Carolinas at a couple car shows in the next couple weeks, right? So look for us, Darcy Archer with her Save 22 car, Mustang, only Fords, only Stangs, 843, Mopar, all those guys down there that support us. Dale Long, car shows, thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. Be on the lookout too. We are having our 5th annual Save 22 golf outing hosted on September 8th at the Quarry in East Canton. Hey, we still need sponsors. We still need players, teams. If you sponsor, some of the sponsorship levels get you a team. So, hey, be on the lookout for that. Come join us. We'll have the merch truck out there. We'll have some golf stuff for you. Want to say thanks to Mike's Again Golf League and oh crap, I just brain farted on what Monday's golf league is called. Uh, Magnolia Men's League over here at Zor. Big kudos to those guys. Because of Save 22, about 20 veterans are receiving golf diversion therapy this year for their entire season. They got their entire season paid for by Save 22, thanks to some partners who wish to remain anonymous. But if you'd like to sponsor our golf program, hey, hook us up. Like I said, Tuesday talk, save22.vet, info at save22.vet. Look us up. Tell us you're interested in partnering with us. You can do it for a minimal investment, whatever fits your budget. We'd be happy to help you out. You can make a donation at save22.vet. Tell us where you'd like that money to go, and we'll make sure it goes into that fund. Right now, we're doing motorsports, golf, and community service. So go ahead and give us drop us a dime if you can. Right, every little bit helps. We really, really appreciate it. I think that's about all I got. I got to go get ready for this VA appointment. Tune back in 2 weeks. We will have some information for you on the Moss Rehab Institute, where I am going next week for a 3-day evaluation. Should be exciting, kind of scary, but hey, I'm doing it so that my kids and I understand what's going on and how we can better educate others on the stuff that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. So thank you to everyone for joining in today. I feel like this was a really incredible show. We actually had double-digit viewers on the live, which is really great. We'll wait for the analytics to come in, but I think this was a success, even though we are from a deployed location. So thank you again to Jim West and his family for allowing me to do this in his garage, Mahal. Don't worry, Jim. I left everything in its place. I promise not to take that stuff home. So, hey, look back again. 2 weeks. Look for us, 10 o'clock, Tuesday talk. Save 22 on the YouTube channel, live on Johnny Flyboy on TikTok. We'll talk at you soon, guys. Thanks.